Let's use this next example to go through a few basic rules to follow when working with factorization. The first rule you need to look at is if your equation equates to 0. So this one equates to 0. The next rule you want to look at is your sign in front of your integer. And in this case, it's a plus. So since this is a plus, we will know that we will use the same signs, which is a positive and a positive, or we'll use two negatives, a negative and a negative. This is determined by this sign over here. So this is a positive, so we'll know that we'll use two positive signs. So if we write our brackets in, we will know that we will have a plus there and a plus over there. Now next we'll want to use a cross multiplication table. So to use that, we take the integer in this term over here and the integer over here. So we've got nothing here, so we can say that it's a 1. We know that 1 times 1 will give us a 1. And over here we've got a 1 as well, so it's 1 times 1. This is the format you use to write in a cross multiplication table. Using this, you cross multiply your values to get your answers. So we've got 1 times 1, it will give us a 1, and over here the same, 1 times 1 is 1. Since we're using positive, we just rewrite in our positive signs over there. Then you take the sum of these two, which will be positive 2. If this answer is the same as your integer in this term, then we know that we can use this format as our answer. So in your cross multiplication table, the left integers will include an x, and the sign over here is the sign you used over here, which is positive and a positive. So rewriting this, we will have x plus 1, x plus 1, and the same, x plus 1, x plus 1. So this is our answer if we were expected to factorize this equation. Let us move on to a more difficult one. Here we have 2x to the power of 2 plus 6x minus 8. The first rule to look at if the equation equates to 0. The next is to look at the sign. We've got a negative. That means that our signs will differ from each other. So we'll have a positive and a negative, or a negative and a positive. So in our brackets, we will have a positive over here and a negative, or a negative over here and a positive over here. Now we use the cross multiplication table again. 1 times 2 will give us 2, which we have over here. And then we can take 2 times 4, which will equate to 8. So we'll have 2 times 4. Cross multiply this to get 2 times 2 is 4, and 1 times 4 is 4. So we can instantly see that no matter which sign we use, we will equate to 0, because 4 minus 4 is 0, and negative 4 plus 4 is also 0. So this is not the correct cross multiplication table to use. Let us find by trial and error the next table. So again, we can only use 1 times 2 to get 2, but over here we can also use 1 times 8. So cross multiply this to get 2 times 2 is equal to 2, and 1 times 8 to get 8. Our signs differ, so one of these answers will be a positive and the other a negative. Since we've got a positive over here, we know the largest number will be the positive, and in this case it's the 8. So this one will be a positive and this one will be a negative. If we find the sum of this, we will equate to negative 2 plus 8 will give us positive 6. Positive 6 is the same as our integer over here. So this is the table we will be using. As the previous example, we rewrite our x in here and include our signs over here. We've got a negative over there and a positive over here. Rewriting this into our answer, we will get x minus 1 and 2x plus 8. And this is our answer if we were expected to factorize this equation. And that sums factorization up. Let us move on to the next lesson.